Travis Goodwin Show, Abraham. I appreciate you coming on and talking with me. I've been following you for a while, man. I know all about what you do and your business. But for those who may not know, let's just start off by introducing yourself, who you are and what you do.
Yeah, so I'm Abraham Gray. I have been doing businesses, buying and selling businesses, running businesses since I was 15, 35 years ago. And I've been doing real estate since I was 22. So that's been another 28 years or so. And I do a lot of lending. Those are the three main things that I focus on.
That's awesome. So are you how 22 years old, you get into real estate. How did that happen?
So I was making a lot of money in businesses that I had. And a friend of mine was doing a lot of real estate at the time, and he's like, "Man, you should diversify, get into some real estate." And I was like, "Okay, well, show me like what you're doing." And he was doing a lot of rentals at the time, so I bought my first few rentals back in 1998. Did well with them. They started appreciating, and then I started just buying more and more with all the extra money I was making from my businesses, which gave me a lot of equity that I was building, and then of course some cash flow. And then also I got like lots of good tax write-offs for the money I was making in my business. So it just worked, they worked hand in hand really well. And then I started doing some fix and flips a few years later because some of the homes I started buying needed some work. And then I got some good crews and I was like, you know what, I could expand. So I went from like some rentals to some fix and flips. And now I'm just doing a lot of all kinds of stuff. I started with residential and then I started buying, more commercial stuff 5, 10 years, 15 years in. Now I own a bunch of residential and commercial, but I primarily stick to residential. That's kind of like what I have the most fun with.
That's awesome, man. So today you're still, buying, selling, flipping.
Always, every day. I actually, the first Tuesday of every single month, there's a auction, foreclosure auction in Georgia, and I was bidding on all the foreclosure auctions. I actually just walked out and came here. I won two so far today. There's still a few more going, but I have some other people bidding on them. So I did buy two today so far.
Hey, congratulations. That's awesome. So
Yeah.
is that how you're finding a lot of your deals right now through
No,
auction?
I would say maybe 10%. Some months maybe 20% come from the auctions, but most of the stuff I buy is coming from wholesalers.
Oh, wow. Okay. So
Yeah.
you're not doing like any direct to seller marketing or anything like that?
Not anymore. I used to do a lot of direct to seller marketing. When the market was really hot back in 2020, 21, 22, I did a lot of it. And then even in 23, I did some. But then it just became not worth it as much. And there were so many good wholesalers that would send me stuff. I was buying off them. It was just easier. I was able to get rid of some of my staff from the cold calling and VAs and all that, and just kind of make my life a little bit easier and just buy off wholesaler. So I mean, I do got to get 100 deals to get one good one. Like there's 99% is crap,
Yeah.
but you got to know which wholesalers are good, and once you do it long enough, you're gonna find the best ones.
Yeah, that's a good point. I get a lot of wholesale leads and, just like you said, a lot of them are garbage. What to you is a good wholesaler?
Someone that knows what the market is what the properties are worth, someone that knows how much the rehab is and knows that, look, for me to do a rehab, I need to make 10 to 15% on my money. And a lot of them don't realize that the homes, first off, all the bad ones for the most part are like, oh, the ARV 300. The ARV is really 250. Like they're just bullshitting it. You know what I mean? And then rehab 20,000. It needs 50,000. It's like, so those are the bad ones. And that's most of them, unfortunately. And there's just no room to just waste your time looking at them most of the time. So I think that people either just don't know what they're doing,
Yeah.
or there's a few out there that just try to trick you, just because they're assholes. So you just got to really know what you're doing. You got to know how to underwrite. Make sure you don't buy something for more than it's worth, because the most unfun thing to do is to buy properties, do a ton of rehab, and then lose money on it. Do all that work for a loss.
That is the worst feeling in the world, my man.
Yep.
It
Yep.
hurts your soul when that happens. So I get it. So what's important for those, like let's say we're just getting started in this business and we're not really trying to wholesale. We want to pick up rental properties or pick up fix and flips. Um, what do we look for and how do we have these conversations with these wholesalers to let them know what we want? That way we're kind of on the same page. How do you do that?
So if you have like a wholesaler you think that could be good and wants to work with you, what I'll do is I'll show them, look, this is my ARV. This is what I think the rehab is going to be. And this is how much profit I need to make. And if you can get me deals that fit this criteria, great. And what I do is I ask them, I'm like, what do you think? What do you think ARV is? What do you think rehab is? And they show me theirs. And if you show me yours, I'll show you mine. And then basically we figure out where we're off at. And eventually, if you do that enough times with someone, they're either never going to give you good deals or they're going to understand and start giving you some better deals.
Yeah, that's so true. Do you have a certain like group of wholesalers, like of guys and girls that you actually work with consistently and on a repetitive
Yeah, I
basis?
mean, I buy from tons and tons of different people, but there's definitely like three or four or five maybe that I get the most of my stuff from. It's always like that. I might buy from 100 people, but five people give me most of everything. That's kind of how it usually works. But those are people that know what they're doing. They have like real businesses. They know, they might have fixed and flipped in the past themselves, and they realize, look, this is what the property needs to be for you to make any money.
Yeah. Fix and flip's a whole different ball game, right? If you're not from that industry, that background of real estate, and you're just a wholesaler, it's hard for them to wrap their minds around it, I
Yeah.
believe, because there's a lot of budgeting involved.
Yeah.
Uh,
What I see of a lot of wholesalers don't understand the cost involved in fix and flip. And they're like, oh, you sold for 200, you put 50 in it, anything under 150 you make money on. No, there's realtor fees, there's holding costs, there's, whatever. There's a lot of cost, tons of cost. And then you got to make profit. So people don't know how to do their equations right. And again, that's the biggest problem with like newer wholesalers that don't know what they're doing.
yeah, it's more than just a kitchen remodel and
Hmm.
material costs.
Yeah.
A lot of moving parts. I understand what you're saying. So do you wholesale at all? Like, do you ever assign a
I've,
property?
I've never wholesaled. I've never wholesaled. But what I do that's very similar to wholesaling
Hmm.
is any property that somebody brings to me that I think is a good deal, I just buy it. So I actually close on every single deal. Now, a lot of the deals that I close on, I will then go and give to. I have like I'm not. I don't have like any dispo people in that work for me, but I have
Yeah,
a few dispo people I work with, a lot. And even though they don't work primarily for me, like we work a lot together. So then I'll give my properties that I don't want to rehab to them, and then they'll go ahead and sell them as is. So I will usually, after I buy it, go in there and at least do a clean out and get it to where it's not scary, not smelly, fix anything that looks like really bad. So
yeah.
sometimes I'll spend, 2,000, sometimes I'll spend 5 or 10,000, and then I'll resell it and then let the person finish the $50,000 rehab themselves. But I do that a lot. So I would say over about 60% of the properties I buy, I just sell as is, but I might do like 2 to 5,000 bucks, $10,000 on the high side of work before I let them sell it because I don't like selling stuff that I don't own because if I make a deal with someone and then all of a sudden the person I'm buying it from, the seller like backs out or something crazy happens or title doesn't clear, I just feel bad because I'm like, oh man, I told this person. So it's happened to me so many times. I hate the feeling, so I don't want to do that to other people. And also, if you're wholesaling a property, you really can't do any work to it. It doesn't make sense because you're spending money, and if it doesn't sell, then you're screwed. So, or the homeowner might not want you to do certain things. So, I think that I can maximize how much I get for stuff by doing a little bit of work. Sometimes it makes the value worth a lot more than what I'm actually doing. For every $2,000 I spend, I feel like I get a $5,000 to $10,000 return. So that's a good return. So I'd rather do a little bit of stuff, make it better, and then get a little bit higher. And I know what people don't like and do like, and I'll fix the stuff that other people like scares people that I could do pretty easy and for way cheaper. And then I let the people finish it.
Smart man, smart man. We do. I have a business partner, and we do the same thing. I started this as just assigning, but I no longer assign anything. If we're going to close on it and do exactly what you're doing, we're going to cherry pick the ones that we really like and flip those. How do you determine which ones you want to just clean out, put on the market as is, and the ones you want to put that real work
Yeah.
in?
So I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say cherry pick because I mean, cherry pick means that you're taking all the best deals and you're selling the shit ones. I don't necessarily do
Sure.
that. I don't
Gotcha.
necessarily do that. What I do is I figure out the areas that I like to work in the most
Mm-hmm.
and the types of rehabs I like to do the most.
Okay.
So there are certain counties here that it's just way easier for me to do rehabs in because that's where most of my crews are. So if I have properties in certain areas, those are always the ones that I'm going to do. And then the areas that are further away or stuff like that are the ones that I kind of sell. That's kind of how it usually works. Also, it depends on all the crews I have, what they're working on. So if I have crews that have extra time to do big jobs, I'll take a big job and do it every so often. But if I have a whole bunch of small jobs that everyone's working on, and if I do a big job, it'll just screw up a couple of my other projects. I won't, I'll just try to get rid of and sell all my bigger jobs. So that's kind of how it. A lot of it determines by the area that it's easier for me to work in, and also how busy my crews are at the time. Do I want to do more jobs because they have time, or do I want to like just sell most stuff because they're in too many projects right now and it's not worth keeping these, on hold until they're ready.
Yeah. Gotcha. Gotcha. What's your activity like right now, man? Like how many projects do you have you're working on?
I've been buying close to 15 a month right now for the last 6 months or for the last year or so. And I'm probably working on about six at a time always. And then I have the others that I'm just getting rid of.
Awesome. What's the population like where you're at?
I mean, Atlanta has close to 7 million people.
Okay,
So
so
I'm
you're in
I'm in
Atlanta.
I'm in Atlanta. I mean, and I buy, an hour, like 50 miles north of Atlanta, 50 miles south of Atlanta, 50 miles east of Atlanta, 50 miles west. So I mean, I have, I'll go 100-mile radius all around. But yeah, it's probably close to 7 million people, I'd imagine, in that area. Atlanta's like the sixth biggest city in the country after like New York and Los Angeles. And I think Chicago's third. And I think Dallas is fourth. Houston's fifth. And then Atlanta, number six.
I love Atlanta. My uncle used to live in Atlanta and I spent some time there when I was a kid and it's
Yeah.
a great place, a lot of good people. So you mentioned private money earlier. Are you using your money to buy these or are you, getting private money to buy these? How does that
Yeah,
work?
so for all my fix and flips, I use my own money. Luckily, I've done really well over my lifetime, and I made a lot of money, so I use my own money. But there's nothing wrong with using private money. I mean, everyone should have private money lenders. Most people have at least hard money lenders, but you can usually get a little bit better deals from private money lenders, or you could at least get stuff done faster, which is also a benefit. So I use my own money for everything, but I lend out tons of my own money as well. So I have a lot of extra cash all the time. So I'm always lending out my money. But I actually have about $25 million of money out to other people that are doing fix and flips right now in pretty much the Atlanta market. I have a lot of investors that give me money, like a lot of private money lenders that give me money. And I use that money to loan out more than to do my fix and flips because I have enough of my own money to do fix and flips. But in theory, if I was doing a ton of fix and flips and was, running low on money, I could use one of my private money lenders to rehab. I mean, to fund a property, but I just never need to. But that's definitely an option, and I would do it if needed for sure.
And that's awesome. That's really cool what you said. You're how you can know a money lender, right? And you can know somebody who needs the money and you can be that person in the middle and not ever have to even use your money, right?
Yeah,
How
exactly.
does that work exactly? Like how is that structured?
Yeah, so I'm paying people 10% annually to 12% annually on their money, and then I'm loaning that money out for 18% plus annually, and I just make the difference. So let's just say I get $100,000 from someone, I loan it out. That person is paying me $1,500 every single month, and then I'm paying my investor 1,000 a month, and I keep the $500.
Awesome. That's a great way to make money, man.
Yeah, yeah.
What
That's
are
probably
the
one of my probably one of my businesses that make the most money right now because that I just gave you an example on 100,000. And for every 100,000, I'm making at least $500. But I have $25 million out right now, so it's
Yeah.
a substantial amount of money. And out of that 25 million, probably about 30% of it's my own money. 70% is probably investors' money. So on my money, the 30% that's my money, I make all the money on it. And then the 70% I'm making the spread.
So what are the risks with that? Like, you being in the middle and having the
Yeah. There's a few risks. The first risk is if you don't know how to underwrite properties,
hmm
then you loan too much to someone, there's a good chance they're not going to pay you back. So you've got to make sure that you're loaning the right amount. That's probably the most thing. And then of course the other risks are making sure you have all the right paperwork, making sure that everything is clean with the title and all these other things. But all that gets done at closing, and you get the security deeds and promissory notes and title insurance, all those different things. So the paperwork's important, making sure you don't underwrite. is important. And then if people don't pay you, you have to foreclose on them pretty fast because if you don't foreclose, then they keep owing you more and more every single month. So in Georgia, it takes like 30 days to foreclose. So it's pretty fast. On the long side, it could take up to 60 days. On the short side, it could take 30 days. So between 30 and 60 days, I always get the property back or sell it or whatever. So um, the other like risk involved is if the market tanks. So
Yeah.
I'm loaning money to people based on what the market is now. If the market just drops all of a sudden, drastically, that would be there would be some risk there. I would say most of the people I loan to would still be good on it, but like the people that just can't afford to or just aren't good people, I might have to take some of those properties back and I might just buy them and own them for a little while until the market turns around and rent them or just sell them for a loss and just take a loss and be done with it. Hopefully it'll be a small loss, but that hasn't happened yet. I'm pretty good with the market because I buy and sell so many properties. I could tell the shifts in the market. And as I see the market's getting weaker, I'll just loan a lot less, loan to value, or I won't do as many loans until I see, how the market is. And we're actually in that market right now. The last 2 months, the market has gone down more than I've seen in years. The last 2 months has been the weakest 2 months in the market. Every single thing that people have is taking a lot longer to sell and selling for a lot less. So I do think there's going to be some problems coming up in the near future, but stuff could also change and turn around as well. So we'll see what happens. I know which areas are stronger than others in the places that I lend, and I keep track of it really well and how the market's going. So I know what and I try to have a lot of my people that I lend money to have enough skin in the game to where they're going to lose a lot of money if they don't pay me. So it's very rare that happens. It happens once in a while, but it's very rare because most of the time the people that I'm loaning to lose way more money than even I would lose. And I never really lose because I loan them a safe amount. But if the market dropped a lot and I was to lose some, the person that I'm lending the money to is going to lose a lot more because they have a certain amount of their own money in it as well.
Yes, you made some really good points there, man. And I'm up here in West Virginia, and I've noticed that too in the last 2 months. Just exactly what you said. Things aren't selling as fast. The prices are dropping. A lot more reductions. But at the same time, I'm direct to seller, and a lot of the sellers that I'm talking to, they're still in last year prices a little bit. Like
Yeah,
some of them are still
and they're
competing.
a lot higher a year ago.
Yeah, man. So I'm curious to know what's about to happen. I'm expecting spring, things to heat up and people to get out, but
That's what I think too. There's more homes on the market right now than there's been in a long, long time. So the quantity available is a lot higher. A lot of the reason why it's higher is because there's been a huge spike in new construction, and
mhm.
there's so much new construction out there that it's competing with the rehabs. So I see just so much new construction, way more than I used to. People are just doing a lot more now. So, and then again, people are worried that interest rates aren't going down anytime soon, so that's scaring people. And the fact that people still are recovering from just not making a lot of money the last few years
Yeah,
and want to see what happens with the new administration and see if anything changes or if it's going to be the same thing. So there's only so much money people have, and it's definitely a buyer's market now.
yeah,
There's a lot more inventory, so it's the first time in a long time it's been a buyer's market. So if you're trying to buy a home, it is a good time to buy because you definitely can negotiate the prices down, and there's a lot of inventory to look at compared to normal.
definitely. I started back in 2018, 2019 in real estate, and I'm comparing it right now kind of to then a little bit, like in a way. Like it reminds me a lot of when I first started with
Hmm.
just the way that everything's going. So,
Yeah.
man, you've been doing this a while, like a good bit.
I bought my first property in 1998. So what was that 27, 28 years ago. 28 years ago.
What is your day to day like now today in business? Like, do you still do a lot of the day to day activity?
Yeah, I do whatever that's fun to do. So, anything that I do that becomes not enjoyable, I pass it off to someone in my office. But I really like negotiating with people. I really like working deals. It's kind of fun. So that's kind of what I do. I'm pretty much in my office where I'm at right now, almost every day, most of the day, and people are just sending me deals, and I'm just going through them, looking at them, and deciding what I want to buy, what I don't want to buy, and then I have someone that helps me with all that. So if I have too much, I just pass them a lot of the stuff to do. But I definitely still like to do some of it. It's kind of fun. And then I'm still buying more businesses. I'm still buying tons of real estate. I do a lot of creative deals. I buy tons of sub twos and owner finance that I keep as rentals and loans. I'm always looking at people that want new loans. So I always I post a lot on social media. I let people know what I'm doing, and that's how I get a lot of my business. So I'm always networking, putting stuff out there, going to events, and that's kind of what I have fun doing.
Yeah, man, you got to get loud, right? You can't be scared to put your face out there and let people know what you're doing. That's how, you're going to get more business.
Yep.
Um, I think I first found you through Pace.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, so what is your relationship like with Pace?
So my relationship with Pace. So I joined Sub 2 in 2020. That was the first year it opened. So I'm one of the OGs that was in there from the beginning. So 2020, I joined Sub 2. I met him at the end of 2020 in Atlanta when he came and did a meetup. We talked. And then I ended up flying to Phoenix for some events he had in Phoenix in 2021. We got to talk some, and we just we kind of hit it off, and I kind of like told him different things I thought that we could do together that could be beneficial for both of us. We tried some stuff, it worked, and we became better and better friends over the years. And then I've been doing events since 2020 where I speak in front of crowds, teaching them business, teaching them all kinds of other stuff. And I had Pace be a guest at a bunch of my masterminds that I was doing back in a year or so later. And from then we just keep doing a lot of stuff together. So we have some businesses together now. Me and Pace own a lot of properties together, and we stay in touch and we talk multiple times a month, and sometimes a lot, sometimes not as much, depending. He stays really busy. So,
I
but
bet.
anytime he has like events, I try to fly to his special events and vice versa.
That's awesome, man. So, there's a lot of people that just don't like to partner. They don't want to own properties with people. They don't want to do none of that. Are you open to partnering with people like that, or is it just certain people you'll do actual deals with?
Oh yeah, no, I'm very picky with who I partner with. First off, I love partnering with people. I don't like doing stuff on my own much. I like partnering. So I just gotta make sure it's the right partner. I don't want to just partner with anyone. I want to partner with someone that I know I'm not gonna have headaches. If you partner with the wrong people, it's like, oh man, it's horrible. It's like getting married to the wrong woman or dating the wrong person. It's a nightmare. So you got to make sure that you have the same values and that the person's not going to try to screw you over, and they're going to do their fair share of the work and whatever you agree to that they're going to do. So I partner with someone after knowing them a little bit, but I definitely partner with new people all the time. But I make sure that I know their character very well, ahead of time.
Yeah, I understand that completely, man. A good partner is just such a blessing to have. Somebody that can
Hmm.
actually take on the things that, you can't do at this time, and you're
Yeah,
not out here running around doing everything.
or stuff that you don't like to do.
Yep.
I mean, every single business that's successful has an integrator and a visionary.
Yep.
It's very, very rare that someone is good at both. It's very, very rare. And some people could do both, but it's still kind of a waste of time to do both because they're better at one or the other. So I think that almost every business needs to have that integrator and that visionary, and ultimately makes people partners. You could also hire somebody, to do the other thing that you don't do, but either way, it's still um, either a partnership or you have to hire someone that's high level that does the stuff that you're not as good at or just don't enjoy to do.
True. I get that. So you do a lot of business, you're always, you're in the office during the day, you're looking through properties. What do you do to kind of turn off the business?
I mean, what do I do when I'm not doing business?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I like to do martial arts. So I go to the gym, 3 4 days a week at least, and I do jiu-jitsu. I used to do a lot of MMA and stand up and everything else, but I mainly focus just on the jiu-jitsu, the grappling part now. So I do that for a long time. I've been doing that for over 13 years. I've been doing mixed martial arts for decades, and that's really fun. I have tons of good friends there. We hang out, we talk, get good sweats in. And then I like to hang out with the kids and the wife. On the weekends, I basically spend most of my time with my three kids and my wife, and go go play ball with my dog and stuff like that. But it just depends on the day. I stay pretty busy during the weekdays because I'm at the office most of the day. Then I go to the gym, and then I'll come home and we'll hang out a little bit, go eat dinner together. And but yeah, I would say on the weekends I like to spend time and go to movies, go to comedy clubs, go out of town. I fly to a lot of different places with my wife and kids and family and stuff like that. So that's kind of the stuff that I will do when I'm not working.
That's awesome, man. That helps prevent burnout, and you get to actually spend time with the people that you love. And because I know business, we love to make
Yeah.
money, right? But sometimes it can get a little bit too much, right? Are you still looking at houses
I'm looking at houses
yourself?
every
Like, are
day.
you in houses, like actually like
Yeah.
visiting?
So the truth of the matter is I never have to go to houses ever. Like I have inspectors, I have my crews, I have everything else. But I actually still go to houses maybe once a week or so,
Okay,
just to go take pictures, just so I could post on social media.
yeah,
Like every single time I go, I don't really need to go. If I never went, it would be fine. It wouldn't change anything. But I go for good content. I go get content there, and then that's what helps me get more properties. So a lot of times people send me deals because they see the stuff I post.
love it, man. Well, it looks like we're running out of time here. I do appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, for sure.
If somebody wants to connect with you, whether they want a JV, they want to learn
Mhm.
more about how you can lend to them, what's the best way for them to reach out?
I mean, the best way to reach out is to, make sure we're friends on Facebook, follow me on Instagram, YouTube, my YouTube channel, Abraham Gray. But I would say just reach out to me, message me, and then if you want to email me, I answer every email pretty fast. My email is Abraham, Abraham, and then it's MMA like mixed martial arts, and then ATL like Atlanta.com. So if you email me, I'll respond. And then if you follow me, I message everybody back that messages me on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook. So those are the easy ways. And then, if we could do something together or do some business together, let's do it.
Awesome. I'm going to put all of your information that you just said in the description. So anybody watching, if you want to contact Abraham, just go to the description, click it, and, reach out to him. He's very accessible. I reached
Yeah.
out to him through Facebook, and it didn't take him long to get back to me to say, yeah, let's do this interview. So I appreciate you, man.
Huh?
If we could leave the people with one final thing, it could be business, life, just one final gem, what would it be?
I would say figure out what you want to do in life and do it. Take the first step, the action. Start doing it. If you're not sure what to do, find some people to ask and people that have done what you've done. Get with them, get their help, figure out ways to bring them, some value and help them, and they'll help you. And it's always easier to do it with someone, or it's easier to do it with someone that's taught you how to do it, so you don't make the dumb mistakes. But just figure out what you want to do, start doing it, and get with someone that's done it, and get their help.
Awesome. I appreciate it. That's $1 million worth of game, guys. I hope you guys
Yeah.
listened. And if we provided any value at all, please just share this interview. That's all I ask. And I hope you have a good day. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.